For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Never be surprised by political events in St. Lucia in the run-up to the island's next general election. Welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, and that is on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on TuneIn as well as Radio Garden and the NewsSpin Facebook page and the NewsSpin YouTube channel. Let's take the opportunity again to remind you to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the channel grow. We're going up until 2 o'clock this afternoon, and as usual, your calls at 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, and Amanda is going through the comments in the chat room, and she'll be providing us with regular updates. We hope you're having yourself a fantastic Tuesday. Whether you are in the British Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the United States, Canada, the UK, St. Lucia, Barbados, in Colombia, Panama, you name it. Thank you so much for tuning in to this program. Dr. Kenny Anthony said it. Never ever be surprised by whatever that happens politically. And in a run-up to the island's next general election, a lot of things are going to happen. Some of them will shock you. Some of them will catch you off guard. But rest assured that there are a lot of surprises that will be coming your way between now and when the next general election is called. Interesting developments. Finally, we have confirmation. And that confirmation was revealed last evening on DBS television following the DBS evening news, when well-known attorney Stanley Felix and former President of the Senate revealed that he will be contesting the Castries Central seat as an independent candidate. How do you read this? What are the implications? Who will suffer and who will gain? When the dust is settled, who will emerge victorious? Now, some of you tune into this broadcast and you take offense when I say certain things because you want me to be nice to you. You want me to say things that are palatable, things that you will agree with. So don't hit me because I'm saying something that you don't like. Not that I care, because I cannot determine whether you will like me or not. And most of you have never met me, but somehow you don't like me because of what I say on this program. But I'm not here to please anyone. As far as this development is concerned, it is a game changer. But before I give you my 2 cents, and in case you missed it, let us hear from Mr. Stanley Felix, that address which he delivered last evening on DBS television, and that is following the DBS News World. Let's watch and listen.
My brothers and sisters of Castries Central, a pleasant good night. This is not just a political announcement. This is a homecoming. This is a man standing before his people, not perfect, not untouched by pain, but unbroken. This is a celebration of the spirit of Castries Central, resilient, hopeful, and unbreakable. For some, politics is about power. For me, it has always been about people. And this moment right here is because you, the people of Castries Central, have called me, have lifted me, have reminded me that when others betray us, when others fail us, our strength is not lost. I want to believe this is a special moment for every single one of you who has lived, worked, struggled right here in Castries Central, from Boapatat to Mondidor, from Georgeville to La Pensée, Leslieland to Lastic Hill, Lacoudou to Riverside Road, Conway, Sanssouci, and the CDC. For years, we have shared the same dreams and the same disappointments. Today, I stand before you not as a politician, but as your neighbor, a Castries Central man, born here, raised here, tested here, and will more than likely die here. I am Stanley Felix, a proud son of Lastic Hill, a man raised by the streets and the spirit of Castries Central. I was not given privilege. I was not handed opportunity. I had to prepare myself. I had to fight for it. I had to cross oceans for it. I have known absence, the absence of a father, the absence of a mother who had to leave me as a boy to seek a better life abroad. But I also knew presence, the presence of love from a grandmother, from neighbors, from a community that never let me feel forgotten. In fact, I'm a product of what you call the savane. As a boy, I knew the heartbeat of Central. I crossed the little ravine up in Lastic Hill and found myself at the Toussaint or the Jeffers family in Boapatat. I could run from Boapatat to Mondidor, play football at Marshall Field, then dive into the brown waters of the Marshall River, rinsing off at the Freeness, as it was called then, at Bamago in Leslieland, all while hearing Hero's sweet music float down from Rose Hill. I played marbles in the CDC. I flew my kite there in the high sky. I stood in the line at Armour for my 60 cents loaf and my ounce of luncheon meat. then sat in pit at Gaiety or Clark's to lose myself in a Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee movie. These were not just games or pastimes. They were the moments that shaped me, the lessons that taught me resilience, patience, and community. They remind me that I am not a stranger, not a visitor, not just from Castries Central. I am Castries Central. My story is your story. I am with you, and I am for you. But let me be honest, life, and yes, even politics, has brought me betrayal. People I trusted hurt me. Doors that should have opened were slammed shut. But hear me well tonight. Betrayal does not break a man, it refines him. Broken crayons still color, and humiliation is a louder teacher than privilege. And so from every setback, I have risen stronger. I am standing here not because of what was taken from me, but because of what you have given me, your faith, your calls, your prayers, your belief that Stanley still has work to do for Castries Central. It is that belief, that call, that brings me here tonight. I did not enter this race for ambition. I entered because I cannot stay silent while families in Central go hungry, while young people are denied chances, while vendors are displaced and disrespected, while elders feel forgotten. I enter because Castries Central deserves better. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. My vision is simple. Anu Vivasam. Let us live together in dignity and hope. We will strengthen community safety so that mothers and fathers sleep without fear. We will create opportunities for our youth, not just jobs, but skills, mentorship, and a future they can believe in. We will restore honesty and accountability, ensuring decisions are made with you and not against you. This is not the vision of one man. This is the vision of a people who are tired of being ignored, who are tired of being reproached, tired of being humiliated, tired of being disrespected, who are ready to rise. We are a proud people. Let Castries Central breathe again. Contrary to what is being said, let me make this clear tonight. I am exercising my constitutional and democratic right to run for the people of Castries Central. I have not aligned myself with any political party, nor have I entered into any discussions with Philip J. Pierre or Alan Shastney. My commitment is, and have always been, to you, the people. So tonight, I announce with a full heart that I, Stanley Felix, will contest the seat of Castries Central as your independent candidate, not because I seek power, you are the master, but because I seek to serve with humility and decorum, because I believe, as always, I always have, that Castries Central is worth fighting for. I may have been betrayed, but I am not broken. I may have been knocked down, but I rise again, and I rise with you. Together, Nukaife. Together we can rebuild. Together we will prove to St. Lucia that when Castries Central stands, the whole nation breathes again. Viva Sam. Let Castries Central breathe again. I thank you, and may God bless Castries Central.
Candidate for Castries Central, Mr. Stanley Felix, contesting the coveted seat in the upcoming general election. Now, in anticipation of Mr. Felix announcing his candidacy, a question was posed to the Prime Minister of St. Lucia during yesterday's press briefing. And this is how he reacted to the question: what do you think of the possibility of Stanley Felix contesting the Castries Central seat?
Last time I read the Constitution of St. Lucia, it was a democracy. So that is.
But the Labour Party is not sending anyone to contest because Bishop Frederick is not a member of the Central.
The Labour Party has been clear that in Castries Central and Castries North, the candidates are Stevenson King, better known as the Blue Wave, and Richard Fredericks as an independent. The Labour Party is not, as a party, contesting these two seats.
And the supporter of Stanley Felix, was he a member of your
told
party?
you,
And is he still a member of the Central Labour Party?
The last time I read the Constitution, we were in a democracy. And anyone can run elections once you have $250.
Is Stanley Felix still a member of the Central Labour Party?
As far as I know, the last time, I don't know whether he's paid his fees recently, but the last time I know, he was still a member of the Labour Party.
You just heard there from the Prime Minister of St. Lucia and political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Mr. Philip J. Pierre. When the SLP went into that arrangement, the recent arrangement with the MP for Castries Central, Richard Frederick, I'm sure that they did not cater for Stanley Felix. They did not anticipate that Stanley Felix would have entered that race. And by the way, Stanley Felix, not the first time that he will be contesting that seat. In 2011, he contested and lost to Richard Frederick by 134 votes. And he contested again in 2016 and lost by 375 votes. He also made a bid to contest the last general election on a St. Lucia Labour Party ticket. He was unsuccessful, and instead the St. Lucia Labour Party decided to go into that arrangement with Mr. Richard Frederick. I said earlier on, this clearly is a game changer, because it's no longer a fight between the incumbent and the United Workers' Party's Rosh Clark. And I think the general feeling on the ground then was that Richard Frederick would have won that seat hands down. Remember, he won that seat in 2021 by some 605 votes. Could have lost a few votes along the way. Let's say, give or take, lose a couple votes, but reduced margin, but he would have still won against Rosh Clark. As it stands now, I think Rosh Clark will get the United Workers' Party vote, and the SLP vote will split between Richard Frederick and Stanley Felix. That's where it gets very, very, very interesting. And anything can happen. Richard Frederick can retain that seat by a slim margin. Rosh Clark can also win that seat. And who knows, Stanley Felix can also win that seat as an independent candidate. I believe it's no longer a foregone conclusion that Richard Frederick will win that seat. So maybe, all things considered, considering what Dr. Kenny Anthony has said consistently, particularly at the commencement of this program, the St. Lucia Labour Party might have to strategize, might have to take into consideration the fact that Stanley Felix has now entered that race. It's no longer a two-man race. And let's be realistic about it. Because I am reading on social media, some hacks are saying that Rosh Clark is likely to lose out from the entry of Stanley Felix. I do not believe so. I believe that the supporters of the United Workers' Party, they are more likely to vote for Roche Clark than to change their loyalty and vote for Richard Frederick or Stanley Felix. I think the vote will split between the SLB vote, that is, will split between Stanley Felix and Richard Frederick. To what extent, I do not know, but certainly that will determine the outcome of the Castries Central election. And of course, that would have implications for both the SLP and the United Workers' Party as far as winning the entire general election. Let's open the lines right now to take your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. Let me see if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through right now. And somebody says there, Tim, SLP is really taking the people of St. Lucia for a joke, and we are so blind. That person did not provide any context. Another WhatsApp message. Tim, the Prime Minister saying Richard Frederick is not a member of the SLP government. So why is he working in the Prime Minister's office? He never said not a member of the SLP government. He's not a member of the party. Person says there, why do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling, Mr. Prime Minister? Another WhatsApp message. Tim, these independent candidates are taking St. Lucia for a ride. If they are truly independent, we need to hear their policies and positions on key issues. We also need to see their manifestos. It's time St. Lucians teach these politicians that we, the people, have the power. So if they can't be genuine, we need to send them packing. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, don't forget the Golden Dragon's candidate. I'm not taking the Golden Dragon or his so-called party seriously. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, it is deeply disappointing that the community center in Roblo, Choiseul, completed about 5 years ago and which housed the vital community library, remains closed by the government despite urgent needs in our community. This facility was intended to be a beacon of support, education, and gathering for residents, yet its closure denies many access to crucial resources and opportunities for growth. Meanwhile, the Roblo Community Library is left hemorrhaging at the Roblo Combined School. The community continues to face significant challenges without safe, accessible spaces for learning, social activities, and community programs. The library especially serves as a lifeline for students, job seekers, and families who rely on it for knowledge and connectivity. As concerned members, we must raise our voices collectively to urge the government to open and properly maintain this center without further delay. Stop the suffering of the children and the community in general. Put the people first, as you promised. Docility, I think, is what is causing governments to take the people for granted. And if you're saying that you have such a facility and it should be open, that's been closed, for what reason or reasons, I don't know. What is the community doing about it? Just sending a WhatsApp message to NewsSpin and having me read it on the air, I don't think that will make much of a difference. We have a call via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon, NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello, good afternoon to you, caller. Okay, let's try and see if we could put this call on the air. Hello, you there?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hi, are you hearing me, Tim?
Loud and clear. Is that Mr. Bradley Felix?
Okay. Yeah, this is Bradley Felix, parliamentary rep for Choiseul Salty Bus team.
Go ahead, sir.
I hope I'm not going to be taken away from your hot button topic
No,
this
it's
afternoon.
Okay. It's okay.
Tim, over the weekend, I was exposed to a clip where the former SLP candidate, Dr. Poleon Prosper, was interviewed on the launching of the Mikud South candidate. And Tim, based on what I saw and I heard, I really question whether she was fully grounded, because her babbles was, in my mind, was to remain relevant after being fired as the SLP candidate. And Tim, based on the asinine statements that I heard, I could only conclude that she had exposed to too much sunlight and needed hydration. Honestly, Tim, she suggested that I was engaged in chicken and rum politics. Tim, I put it to you that she was in Mikud on that day for chicken and rum politics. She was in Viewford for chicken and rum politics. She was in Castries Southeast for chicken and rum politics. And she was in Babino for chicken and rum politics. And she will be in Choiseul this weekend for chicken and rum politics, Tim. She also indicated that as an MP, I had not done anything. She has done a lot of work in Choiseul. And since making that statement, the people have been calling me and asking me, what work has she done and where did she get the resources from? Tim, the Labour Party is extremely deceitful in the way that they indicate that they do not discriminate, and they provide me with similar resources as they do to all parliamentarians. This disingenuous statement is interpreted by many that I receive allocations on par with cabinet members. Tim, I tell you, I receive about 1/10 of what is allocated to cabinet members to address needs of one of the largest constituencies. Tim, how they will respond to what I'm saying is that when we were in office, we provided them with no resources. But Tim, I take you back to when Tom Chu, you should remember Tom Chu, when he was the Taiwanese ambassador. When we were going to provide the opposition members at the time with resources, I distinctly remember the member for Labrie indicating that the SLP will not receive blood money. That's how they referred to the Taiwanese money at the time. But now the Taiwanese money is what is doing everything for everybody in St. Lucia, Tim. I also note that the new candidate that has been chosen for Choiseul Saltibus is making around chirping that same resource, that same refrain about resources not being given to me. Tim, I have come to learn that in our local politics, if you're sharing 5 loaves and 3 fish, you have to blast it all over the place. That is not my style, Tim, but based on what has been said and where some people deliberately choose to forget, please give me just a few minutes, Tim, just to list some of the things that I did. I will not be long, I promise you. I will just list some of the major things that I did. Tim, between Invest St. Lucia and Crown Lands during my time, okay, I made available 150 lots, okay, with concrete roads and utilities available, Tim. Not even Guy Joseph, who's hailed as the housing guru, when he did the housing development in Talvan, did as many lots. In fact, he did about 140. In that same Lafag area where they will be having the launching on Sunday, I put lights on that field, Tim. You would note that there were people who had been there, 3 parliamentarians who had served 3-4 times, Tim, and they had never serviced the main fields in their community with lighting. Tim, I think what Dr. Prosper should have done at the time when she was being interviewed, she should have taken the opportunity to ask her party to open up the Roblo and Pierre, because it's been 3 years since it has been completed. 3 years. And they are victimizing the people of Roblo and Piai by not opening that community center because it was an initiative of the United Workers' Party team. Tim, had she been present at the consultations that were being done in Piai when we were discussing the construction of the Piai Bridge, she would know that the Piai Bridge is something that was done under the United Workers' Party team. Tim, there's what is known as landmarks. What people will say is our patrimony in Choiseul, the sugar mills, where everybody who takes a picture in Choiseul goes to that sugar mill. We always thought that that was lands belonging to the government of St. Lucia. Tim, while I was in office, I acquired these lands for us to do various things which the government has not even looked at, Tim, as they have been in office. You will remember the Choiseul Secondary New Wing, Tim. When Dr. Poleon Professor was the principal of the Delce School, we redid the toilet blocks and the ceiling while she was principal, Tim. The Saltibus Road, Tim, which cost us over $15 million, and you will recall Prime Minister Philip Pierce saying that when he was the Minister of Infrastructure, he said that it would cost about $600,000 to pothole that road. And in his mind, that was too much money because he spoke to the roads that we did as roads going to nowhere, Tim. I want people to remember that, Tim. Tim, the fish pond in Choiseul. I went to Japan along with Minister Ezekiel Joseph in 2019, and we were able to secure $25 million to rehabilitate and address the problems that the fishermen were having in the fish pond in Choiseul. Come Thursday, Tim, the OECS Regional Tourism Competitive Project will be opening the Choiseul Handicraft Center. In 2017, Dominic Fede, as Minister of Tourism, was responsible for receiving about almost $300,000 for that project, which is going to be opened on Thursday. In terms of water-related projects that we have done in the community, Tim, we were able to secure funding from the BNTF to build a 100,000-gallon tank that should have serviced several communities having water issues. We also rehabilitated a pumping station in Poleon, Choiseul. And a member of the Labour Party, well known at the time when we were doing this pumping station, sent us legal letters indicating that that pumping station was on his family land, knowing full well it was not Tim. Tim, we also had talks with Invest St. Lucia to support our farming incubation project. And I remember Invest St. Lucia purchasing irrigation lines, a pump, and everything, Tim. The Labour Party came in, they abandoned that project, they handed that project to Housing. All the irrigation lines were stolen, Tim. Okay? Tim, I was so confident that what Dr. Prosper had indicated in that interview was rubbish, that I had that to be posted on social media, Tim, and I think the people answered her very well with the comments that they made, Tim. Okay? So, Tim, I believe I have served the people of Choiseul Saltibus very well. I look forward to another term of serving them because I know whenever the United Workers' Party is in government, that is the only time we get things done in our community. So, Tim, I will not take too much of your time because I know you have a lot of callers who are going to call, but I just wanted to set the record straight. When people are just babbling, Tim, I have told them once you mention my name, I will respond accordingly. Thank you very much, Tim, for your time.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Just heard there from the MP for Choiseul Saltibus, and that is Mr. Bradley Felix. We have another call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hey, bonjour, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller. Good afternoon.
Oui, moi vais dire comme ça. Bon après-midi à Tim. Monsieur Bradley pas rien pour répondre. Il y a là, il y a resté. So, moi vais dire qu'on a nous avons deux bouteilles pays. Ils ont 100% pour Soisey. Soisey c'est Kaili. Soisey c'est Kaino. So, Frère Bradley, Chebe fort. Mon gardou encore, nous avons deux bouteilles pour. Ils ont 100%. Et la victoire, c'est ça, nous. Pas pièce Tibre qui est venu. Pas même connaître. Ils ont qu'à aimer un bout Soisey. So, on a deux comme ça, frère. Que nous, là, et pour. Chebe fort. Merci, Tim.
OK, caller.
Après-midi, pour nous, pour village. Merci.
OK, caller. Thank you so much for calling. 452-79. 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have another call. Hello. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Please go with your contribution, caller. Yes, sir.
Good day, man. Tim, you know, I like listening to sense, you know, and logic and discussion. But here goes the end of my time on NewsSpin because now it's partisan politics. I think politicians are a reflection of the society. Freshman. Politicians are a reflection of the society. The people are in power, just like the most of the people in the nation. You heard about DSH, $1 for 100 years. People make noise and they sing, and And then when elections come, both sides have thousands following them. So people love what was happening. Then SLP win, they bring GPH, and they have thousands at their rallies. I mean, I am from Vivot. I have family all over Vivot. And it's a fact that in the past 28 years, Vivot had plunged down to an abyss of regress. You know what I'm saying? Shops closing Vivot like a ghost town. Groceries that have more activity than Vivot. Vivot is supposed to be the capital or the next industrial center of Indonesia. Nothing in 28 years. Yet still, the incumbent is still being voted for. So the people like it like that. You know, I'm sorry for those of us who think independently, who analyze, who take policy. People do not care that. They care for now to have a whole cow now, eat the cow now and tomorrow. They're not sure what they will eat. That's how they like it. You know what I'm saying? What the special prosecutor? What's his salary? Getting how many $1,000 a month in little poor third world nation economy. We acting like we are a big industrial economy. Wasting money here, millions there, traveling first class, all kind of thing. How many cases has he attended to? Has he made a statement that he's addressing at least one case of falling? Nothing. And among getting $1,000 a month and people struggling in this country. Before election, you went down saying they have the files. They have it. Don't take it. Down saying they have it. I think that's a big club. I think these two parties, these politicians have a club which is an understanding without speaking. Because people stick with them 6.5 dozen. So do your thing, make your money 5 years. You're likely to become millionaire. The next one will listen for me, I'll come next 5 years. But the people in St. Lucia, those that really thinkers, those that really want well for the country, I think we in the minority. You understand? And the majority like it so. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Good afternoon to you, Amanda. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, NewsSpinners. A few comments here. NewsSpinner says, it's hot, Tim, exciting elections. Commentary reads, all I want is Philip Pierre and his government ministers out of government office on election day. Someone says, they're not my business, but seeing the Labours negatively attack Stanley after making his announcement speaks to their political character. A NewsSpinner says, PJP said he knows nothing about development in Nuclear. Jesus take the wheel. Another commentary reads, seem they do not like you because they can't handle the truth. Someone says there, this election is going to be extremely interesting. Commentary says, personally, I'm so excited about the true independence candidate who has now entered the race for Central. A NewsSpinner says, I want to know who is the people of Central that is not satisfied with Richard that they called Stanley back because it is not any UWP supporter. A commentary reads, it's his democratic right to contest the seat, but the people will make the final decision. Let's see how this plays out. A commentary reads, we support Roche Clark, but we welcome Stanley Felix's candidacy. This election, more people are interested in the drama than what's best for the country. Someone says, Mr. Felix, I'd choose you over the incumbent any day. However, I have seen how Roche has worked diligently with quite perseverance and determination. I would rather give this young man a chance because I think he will do a good job. A NewsSpinner says, people do not be fooled by what's going on with the two independent candidates in Castries Central and Castries North. This is another tactic of PJP, this time to get rid of the two first independent candidates because he has no gonads to tell them he wants nothing to do with them. A commentary reads, independent, my big toe. A NewsSpinner says, Golden Dragon will announce his candidacy after the election. Another commentary reads, who is the we that Stanley Felix speaks of when he is a one-man show? He is independent, yet he tells the people, we will do this, we will do that. Someone says, why are you all getting involved in Labour's story? They have a sitting independent Labour minister still begging for membership, and now enters an independent candidate who the Prime Minister said is a Labour. Let the Labour decide which of the two candidates they are voting for. Mind our flubble business. Just so with y'all. Another commentary reads, this has to be one of the most interesting campaign seasons of all time in St. Lucia. There may be more independent candidates vying for office. Another commentary says, Tim, what is the latest on the new party with Jenna Matthew as the PRO? They did indicate that they would have a candidate for each constituency. To date, they are very quiet. Any updates? Another commentary reads, Caller Rick has been telling us this for years. Our politicians are a reflection of us because they come from us. We tolerate the corruption because we ourselves are corrupt. A few commentary via YouTube it reads, now the Castries seat is getting competitive. Commentary says, is it Royal Rumble of the Reds, RF versus SF? Commentary says, Tim, this election will be like no other, $250, the soul of this country. Commentary says, Richard Frederick has done a lot for Castries Central and he has proved himself. Stanley Felix has not said nothing. He will be doing or has planned to do if he gets into power. And the commentary says via YouTube, Stanley Felix has made this election so much easier for Rush Clark. I totally agree with you, Tim. The SLP will split the votes between RF and SF. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Still to come, some more updates from you. We have a WhatsApp message. Just an important reminder, according to protocol, only the Prime Minister can address the nation. Other persons would deliver a public statement or press statement, but the privilege of the term addressed to the nation should be properly ascribed to the PM or Deputy PM as per protocol, as is responsible for speaking on the holistic interests of the nation, while other speakers would have narrower interests, even their personal interests, as their talking points in a public address. Hope that makes sense. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And somebody says there, the UWP needs to get rid of Alan Chastney as leader and put Honorable Bradley Felix. I believe that Bradley Felix is best to lead. And some more of your messages. Tim, tell PJP to call the election. Another one says there, both parties must do a better job in sticking to narratives which are of premier importance to our people. Issues such as crime and cost of living. What are they going to do or are doing to reduce criminal activity? People are suffering. However, that seems to be lost or obfuscated by all the Blocko-type campaigning and mépris from both sides. Thanks. And the person, let me see there. Okay, I've read that before. We have another WhatsApp message. It says there, good afternoon. School has been open for over 6 weeks now, and the banana a day promised to the school children cannot be delivered. The farmers don't have markets to sell their bananas. So, Prime Minister, please help the farmers by buying the bananas from the farmers to give to the school children. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, hey Tim, a relative of Poleon is the one getting all the contracts in Esperance Roselle. They changed her because she's not a people's person. And let's see, somebody says there, hi Tim, where is Dr. Andre Matthew and his party in all of this? Maybe they're just monitoring the situation and they will be making their presence felt very soon. Another WhatsApp message. Okay, somebody says that they're not hearing us on the radio. I think we have some technical issues and we're trying to rectify it. So we are off Power 97.9 FM, but we are trying to remedy that issue. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, good afternoon. Tell the Postmaster General at the General Post Office, want my packages that came in on Friday. Yesterday I went for it. They said not ready yet. This morning again, same answer. That never happened. If it because a party hack is the head, please, can I get my package, please? Because tomorrow is my birthday and I need it. Let's see there if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, good afternoon. Bradley Felix should be the next leader of the UWP. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, Tim, I'm sick and tired of persons saying that we need to get rid of Alan Chastney. The question is, why? They can never give any substantial reason that makes sense. Shaking my head. That is according to a WhatsApp message. Still to come, more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. And of course, Amanda will continue to monitor the chat room and have some updates as we continue to speak on a range of issues on the island, including the announcement by Stanley Felix that he will be contesting the Castries Central seat in the upcoming general election as an independent candidate.
KFC, yo, we back with the vibe. Strips and dip combo, flavor that rise. Free crispy strips, fries on the side. 16-ounce drink, sauce for the ride. Order for 25, deal so nice. Go down and crunchy, can't think twice. Barbecue, honey, mustard ranch if you wish. Dip it, dunk it, finger licking bliss. KFC, brand new flavor. Set the mood, strips and dip is back. Finger licking good.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Loose Select. No more paper, no more mess. Easy billing, no stress. Use my account to pay online. Pay your bill at any time. Get the stress off your mind. No more standing in line.
Visit LootSelect.com today and sign up to my account to pay your bill. Request a temporary or new connection or switch an account to your tenant's name. Do it all online.
Personal, paperless. Use the virtual service desk. Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Loose Select.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
At First National Bank, we believe being first means putting you first. Your first home? We've got the mortgage. Starting your first business? Count on our commercial loans. Dreaming of your first car? Drive it home today. Heading to college? Let's fund that first big step with a student loan. No matter the milestone, make First National Bank your first choice for all your loan needs. First in service, first in trust, first for you. Call us at 455-7000 or visit your nearest First National Bank branch today so we can help put you first. First National Bank, here for you.
It's coming. The brunch of the century. Welcome to Sunburnt. It's coming. Sunburnt.
At Caribbean Pastors Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastors Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastors Limited is located in Bexar, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastors Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
So much for staying with the broadcast. We continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And somebody says that, Tim, good afternoon. Is Wasco hearing our cry from Bellevue Rosedale? It's now almost a month. We have no water. Wasco, we need water in Bellevue, Gros-Islet. So, here's hoping that Wasco will acquiesce to your request. We have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you on the air?
Hi, Tim. Good afternoon. This
Hi.
is Leonard Spider Montut here.
Yes, Mr. Montut. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm calling to react to a statement I was told that was made, well, I heard this statement myself, by Stephenson King on another talk show.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he had a conversation with Alan Chasney after the last election, and they were discussing who should get Ministry of Infrastructure, and Alan Chasney told him that they couldn't trust Guy, and Spider was too greedy, Spider for us, and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, you see, first and foremost, Tim, I'm mindful that you don't want people to be called liars on your program. So I'll wait till I get to the right program for me to say exactly what it is.
Okay, but you could say what you're saying is not truthful. It's not the truth.
It is not.
There's no truth to that.
Yeah.
Because I heard that exchange between him and the host of that program.
Yeah. That is actually dishonest. Now, let's be real there right now. First and foremost, if you are a man of honor, a private conversation that took place between you and another person of that nature, you shouldn't be divulging it.
Yeah.
Number two, what was the relationship between Guy and Alan Chasney at the time, and Alan Chasney and King at the time, that he would have shared and divulged such information with him? The next thing is, if you have to determine who is telling the truth and who is not, Stephenson King has a history of being dishonest. And those that can be proven is, for example, when he denied to the UWP up to the last minute that there was nothing amiss, and even when he was painting his office, that nothing to do, and then come a day or so before the announcement of the election and profess his allegiance to the UWP, and next day he swung. That tells you how dishonest he could be. He contested an election saying that he was independent and a patriot and so on, all the time having made an arrangement, a secret arrangement with the St. Lucia Labour Party, and he immediately went into the St. Lucia Labour Party after getting the votes of some people who may not have voted for him had they known and had he declared himself as being affiliated to the SLP. So that's where the dishonesty lies, and I can tell you about a lot of dishonest things that I know about him before having served in his cabinet, but I don't think that is for public consumption. Now, I just want to say this. I want to say to Stephenson King, if I was greedy, he would have never been prime minister. And I know you're wondering what I'm talking about. Okay?
I think I have an idea.
Stephenson King, I hesitate. I do not hesitate to say what I have to say. These days, any water that was in my mouth has been spat out. So let me just tell you, Stephenson King made deals to become prime minister, and I'm going to expose it here and now. Okay? If I had agreed to promise Rufus Busquet that he would be back in cabinet as foreign minister and minister of foreign trade, I would have had his support. If I had promised Keith Mondesi that I would have extended or expanded his portfolios, I would have had his support. Okay? There was if I had promised Richard Frederick that he would have gotten the portfolio of national security, I would have had his support. I refused to make any deals of that nature with anyone, and my words to them was that I will not be put in the prime minister's chair with my hand tied behind my back. I must have a free hand to make my decisions if I am appointed as prime minister. I will not be handled by anybody. Further to that, talking about being prime minister, the party constitution stipulated that upon the departure of the political leader who assumes the role of prime minister if the party is successful, when that happens, the party should call a national council meeting so that a new leader could be elected. They bypassed, when I say they, the people in the hierarchy of the party, including Stephenson King, who was chairman of the party, bypassed that requirement because he knows, had that decision been thrown to the open floor at the time in the United Workers' Party, there's no way Stephenson King would have beaten me for the position of leader. Okay? So when you're talking about greed, okay, and I could have made us think about it, I could have escalated it to the public domain, and really fight, okay, that decision, that breach of our party's constitution that was made there. So to come and suggest that anybody, Alan had no reason to call me greedy, because I never fight for any ministry of what was it?
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. And so let me just tell you,
but
at one point while we were in government...
Hold on, Mr. Matut, don't forget what you're about to say. But what's the obsession that some politicians have with infrastructure?
Well, I don't know. I don't see what magic Stephenson King worked in infrastructure. Having been Minister of Infrastructure for 9 years, more than 9 years now, I don't see the magic that he worked.
But do you think it's because you have at your disposal as the Minister of Infrastructure just about the largest budget?
Well, I don't know that too. I've never had any interest in that ministry, so I cannot tell you.
Okay.
He is the one who's making that argument, so he probably can tell you. But he talking about greedy. You want to call me greedy? You're the laziest minister I know of. Okay, because you spend half of your time as Prime Minister Stephenson King sleeping on you. Okay, and you have been the Minister of Infrastructure, and you are a hindrance to the last administration. Because I suffered as a parliamentary representative. I could have had many more roads done. And your devious nature, Stephenson King, was responsible for the Deramo Riviere Meter, Deramo Labon Junction Road not being done when you took it and shifted it to your constituency and those roads in Fiji. All of that time, we didn't realize or suspect that you were all of the time orchestrating your move, your malicious, devious move to leave the party and do what you did. So, Stephenson King might be better off just leaving me out of his conversation completely, because, Steve, I know too much about you for you to address the public and include me in your discussion. And so I just want to say this, that is an absolute lie that Stephenson King said to the public. And I just want to say that I was never in any discussion or conversation with Alan Chasney about Ministry of Infrastructure. The only ministry I've spoken to Chasney about that I did not hold was the Ministry of Public Service, having held it before. I suggested to him, I suggested to him as Prime Minister that he may not have the time to pay the attention and that kind of thing. So he said he was going to pass it on to another minister who was not elected, and that's what he did when he gave it to Eubaldus Raymond. Okay, so these guys feel they can just come out there and just say things, and because the history of the UWP is that we don't respond, they can just say anything and it will go as fact and so on. But let me just say this. It is about time that Stephenson King desists from this nonsense that he is doing. Okay, whatever grouse Stephenson King, whatever disgruntlement Stephenson King has with Alan Chasney, I don't think St. Lucia cares about that today. Okay, because you claim you had issues with Stephenson King. Most of what you said is lies anyway. Well, you left and you went to the St. Lucia Labour Party. You have been there for 4 years now. You're still talking about what happened before 2021. Tell us what you have done since you have left and served for over 4 years now with the St. Lucia Labour Party government. Talk about your record. That is what people are interested in. We're not interested in your personal disgruntlement and grouses with Alan Chasney, whatever hatred you have for Alan Chasney. That is your problem. That is your business. We don't want to know that. So cut. Okay? We are tired of that nonsense, complaining like a little child about Alan did you this, the party did you that, and so on. Get off it. Start talking about your record. You've been in politics for over 30 years, and that is what you could talk about. Tim, I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Just there from the PRO of the opposition, UWP, Mr. Leonard Spider Montut, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. When the discussions get so heated, you know for a fact that general elections are around the corner and people are trying to sell themselves to the electorate. They have a lot to say. There's arguments, allegations, and counter-allegations. And of course, I'm sure that this will only intensify in the days and weeks ahead. We have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. They'll think that's a setup that I got straight on after Spider.
And it is not. I can assure you it is not.
I know because I just said, I was listening on the radio and I say, let Spider finish and try to push my call through. But yes, I listened to, somebody send me the clipping of what was said. And I cannot believe that Stevenson King continues to lower his standards. When you think a man cannot go lower than where he is in his life, then Steve continues to prove time and again that he goes lower. So let me first of all tell St. Lucia, not Steve. Steve is not a man of integrity. So Stevenson King knows I have never lobbied a leader, a prime minister, or anybody for a ministry. I have never... Who made me Minister of Communications and Works? You know him?
Sir John Compton?
Sir John Compton was the one who appointed me. I never had a discussion with Sir John about the appointment, what ministry I was being given. Sir John had the confidence that when we entered the political arena, even if I was a first-time politician, to make me the minister responsible for communications and work. What ministry was Stevenson King given at that time? Wasn't it health he was in charge of or something? I don't even recall what Steve was in charge of in the Sir John administration. But let's go down and let's, because we need to put things into perspective so that St. Lucians understand the devious nature of the individual who is speaking today. So let's examine a couple of things, Tim. When Sir John passed and Steve became Prime Minister, who kept me as Minister of Communications and Works?
Would have been Mr. King.
Exactly. Because under his administration, there was the reassignment of all portfolios because a new Prime Minister had come in. So Stevenson King himself had enough confidence to make me Minister of Communications and Works. I didn't go and lobby him for which ministry I wanted. I'm not like him who made deals with individuals to remain as Prime Minister. I never put any requirement on the table to have supported him as leader or to become the Prime Minister after the passing of Sir John. And you see, when individuals like Stevenson King, I keep on telling him and other persons, we must have basic integrity. There are some things in life that you cannot trade. Stevenson King knows that I gave him, you see, the same support I am giving to Alan Chasney today was the same support I gave to Stevenson King when he was leader of the United Workers' Party. And he knows that. He was the one who used to come to me every time he had a problem. When there was the turmoil in the government, ask him when he came to my home 1 o'clock in the morning, with steam blowing out of his head, he doesn't know what to do. Ask him who sat down, how did we strategize, and what did we do. But today you've chosen to break ranks with UWP, and it's your right to do so. But don't try and make it look.
But
like
why are politicians revealing so many things that should remain private just because they have changed allegiance, just because they have gone separate ways?
So I have said that there are lots of things that I know about Steve that I have not said, because when you speak about your friends or people who are once your friends, other friends don't trust you in the long run. But if Stevenson King is going to make statements about me, rest assured I will respond. Kenny Anthony was my friend. Okay? Sir John and I had a very good rapport and relationship for the short time I spent in government with him. Every leader I've worked with him. I can tell you, there was a time there was some chaos in the UWP. Steve was leader. And if he is honest with you, he would tell you, I said, Steve, if you don't have nobody to be deputy speaker of the House, you remember we ran for a period of time without deputy speaker?
Yes.
When Marcus resigned, all of a sudden they want to pretend. The same Steve and all of them want to pretend is Alan Chasney that started this process. It didn't start with Alan Chasney. It started with Stevenson King. I said to Steve, if y'all just do the things that I need to be done in my constituency, I offer myself to be the deputy speaker. Because we cannot allow the government to be in a situation where it is not functional. So I have never lobbied the Prime Minister or a leader for a position. I've never offered myself. Even as deputy leader team, I never lobbied a person. I never went to anybody and said to them, I want you to vote for me to be deputy leader of UWP. Because I believe that anything that's meant to be will be, and at the end of the day, if people have confidence in you, they appoint you. So now let's examine what Steve said. Given my relationship with Alan Chasney and everything we went through from 2013 to now, you really believe, team, that Alan Chasney would go and tell Steve things about Guy Joseph to appease Steve when all of us knew that Steve was not trustworthy based on all the information that was there? But Steve was treated with the highest regard and respect. I can tell you, when Alan Chasney spoke to me about portfolio, I tell him, you are the Prime Minister, you choose the portfolio. And any day you would give me economic development besides infrastructure, I would choose economic development 100 times over choosing to be the Minister of Infrastructure. Now, I heard you ask, Spider, why does everybody want to be the Minister of Infrastructure? You know why, Tim? Because most of how a politician is assessed is how well the roads are in his concept, how good the infrastructure is. So people always see the Ministry of Infrastructure as a gateway to guaranteeing winning elections, because they always think you can do all the things you need to do for your constituency. But how many ministers of infrastructure over the years have lost their seat? Quite a few persons have had that ministry. Mr. Finisse had that ministry on the Labour, and he lost. So Steve needs to focus on what is before him. And if he thinks that what he's saying they can put division, I know Alan Chasney well enough to know that Alan Chasney is not a gossiper and a backbiter. Alan Chasney led in a manner where he tells you what he's thinking. I've told him sometimes he gives too much information. But I know he is not the kind of person who will say one thing behind your back and say another thing in front in your presence. We cannot say the same about Stevenson King. So here's what Stevenson King should be answering today. Philip J. Pierre appears to be having the same problem that UWP was having with Stevenson King. Incompetence and failure to deliver from his ministry. Why was a unit set up in the Prime Minister's office under the Ministry of Economic Development to manage projects that should be done under the Ministry of Infrastructure? I want Stevenson King to tell us. Is it because Pierre lacks the confidence in him? Philip J. Pierre just said he does not know, maybe that happened in a different cabinet, the meeting with the Nigerian investor. So who is lying? Is it Stevenson King that is lying, or is it Philip J. Pierre that is lying? And I want to ask him further. Explain why persons like him are not allowed to enter the cabinet. On my information, let me put it clearly. My information is ministers are not allowed to come into the cabinet with their phones. Is it because Labour Party had access to listen to some of the cabinet discussions?
Well, Mr. Joseph, we don't know why, yeah?
No. That's why I'm asking the question.
We don't know why.
Is it because they knew that they were getting information live from the cabinet as it was happening? Because certain ministers at the time would have their phone on while a particular subject was being discussed in cabinet? And is it because of the past experience of Labour Party in this situation, knowing what these people did, the fear of them doing the same thing? Stevenson King needs to account for his performance in government. You left UWP. You know that you told a lot of lies. When we ask you about the painting of your building, all of us was seated in the lunchroom. You said that's impossible. When we told you what we heard, you sat, you ate the same food with us, you drank the same drinks with us, and you are betraying us every single day. That is what you have to live with, Stevenson King. Whatever Guy Joseph, who, of course, people don't trust everybody. I don't trust you, Stevenson King. And I didn't say that on radio to you, you know. At the meeting in Viewfort at Coconut Bay, you know I stood up in the meeting and I expressed my views. And you had every opportunity to defend yourself and what I said. You sat there and you did not have a single response. You know why, King? Because I don't tell lies about people. Everything you did to us in government, the way you had the equipment cleared for your friend Tony Leon it's in the Linguist report. Go and look at it. That is why Labour refused to release the report, because they know the Linguist report has more about you. So Labour investigated me, but find more on you. So they had to force you, or they had to blackmail you, or do something to get you to join Labour, or they would have exposed you.
I suspect that all of what you're saying there should be reserved for your Sunday Live, Mr. Guy Joseph. Okay?
So Tim,
please reserve it for that.
I agree.
Because a lot of those things, I really cannot confirm those things that you're saying.
But
Yeah.
I want to say to you, Tim, that Stevenson King knows that he is not trustworthy. And I've said it to him, and I told him, if you remain as leader of UWP, Guy Joseph is out of UWP, I'm not going to work with you. I cannot work with you. You're not a man of your word. Nobody, you say yes to everybody. And as soon as you turn your back, you can make any decision, because you've said yes to 6 different situations on the same subject. So, Tim, that is where I stand on this issue. On the question of integrity, Stevenson King is not there in my book. And I want him to take time and explain to the people of St. Lucia why the day before election was called, you gave your full commitment. Why you sat in the cabinet at lunch with us and told us that there was zero truth to you ever defecting from UWP, and your T-shirts were in St. Lucia. You call that integrity? You think that you can be trusted when you eat and drink with people and you stab them in the back? That is who you are. That's why you generated the name of the snake all by yourself. I wasn't the one who called you a snake, you know. I don't go about calling people names. But when you say something to me, I will respond to you. And if it requires calling you a name, I will call you. But I want to say to St. Lucia, judge people on their performance. Stevenson King, 9 years Minister of Infrastructure, and infrastructure has never been so bad in St. Lucia. The Labour Party is stuck with you because they think you can bail them out in winning this election. You may have saved them the last time, King, but your time is up. You are not going to be able to save Labour because Stephen Favrier is going to unseat you, and all of a sudden, and when you want to engage Guy Joseph in a discussion, Stevenson King, I am challenging you on NewsSpin. The two of us can come and sit on NewsSpin. Let me tell St. Lucians in your presence how incompetent you were in government and how much we, the workers around you, covered up for your incompetence. But Labour Party has nobody to cover up your incompetence and to make up for your shortcomings. That is why UWP was able to deliver, but you can't deliver for Labour. That's very sad and unfortunate. Thank you, Tim. And St. Lucia needs to understand that Stevenson King is the man whose integrity is in question, not Alan Chasney or Guy Joseph. I thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Mr. Guy Joseph, Deputy Political Leader of the Opposition, UWP. We'll be back in just a bit with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Long overdue is an update from Amanda. We'll be hearing from her as well. Stay with us.
Ouais, messieurs, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pomme cette ici. Yo ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est Major. Ils bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moi actuellement. Glo ka fonte. Europa ni pump glo Léo ada pour les nerfs, orange et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
Essier, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Bouteille. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
Lucilec averti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone Salah. Mi un petit commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouet ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outils ou ka servi pas vini moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Tired of sky-high bills and a planet on the brink? It's time to go green without burning your pockets. At First National Bank, we are here to make saving the planet affordable. Whether you're installing solar panels, purchasing a water tank, upgrading to an inverter AC, or buying a hybrid vehicle, we've got the green to help you go green. fast approval, low interest rates, and Mother Nature approved. Your future self will thank you. Visit firstnationalbankonline.com or call 455-7000 for more information to help you turn your green dreams into clean realities. First National Bank, here for you.
KFC, yo, we back with the vibe. Strips and dip combo, flavor that rise. 3 crispy strips, fries on the side. 16-ounce drink, sauce for the ride. Order for 25, deal so nice. Good and crunchy, can't think twice. Barbecue, honey, mustard ranch if you wish. Dip it, dunk it, finger licking bliss. KFC, brand new flavor. Set the mood, strips and dip is back. Finger licking good.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
Are you building, renovating, or just looking to add something to your property? Then look no further. The Block Factory has all your concrete product needs in stock. From 4-inch to 12-inch concrete blocks to high-quality concrete pavers at an affordable price. Whether your project is big or small, we're ready to serve you. Visit us today on the Cul-de-Sac Bextor Highway, right at the entrance of Ferron, next to the Stone Surgeon. Top quality blocks await you. Call us at 720-6752. The Block Factory, building your future one block at a time.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
1, 2, 3.
Hello, St. Lucia. I am Ezra the Fun Machine, and I'm inviting all proud and patriotic St. Lucians to the St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show happening at the Pavilion on Rodney Bay from the 7th to the 9th of November 2025. Let me tell you, the best and brightest entrepreneurs will showcase their talent and creativity, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a vibe. Hey, there'll be a cooking competition, karaoke, and a fashion show by Rafferty. On Friday, November 7th, yours truly, Ezra the Fun Machine, I'll be in the building performing live. And on Saturday and Sunday, entertainment will be provided by the Impulse Band. Come celebrate our brilliant entrepreneurs at the 18th St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show, November 7th to the 9th. Opening time, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily at the Pavilion in Rodney Bay.
NewsSpin calling, 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 calling. NewsSpin calling, 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 calling. NewsSpin calling, 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 calling. Across the land, all across the world, echoes the voices, we join hand in hand. Harmony rise in the afternoon sun. Come along, NewsSpin has begun. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. True from St. Lucia to Sandy Shores, from cities and hills to the Caribbean breeze. We sing together, hearts at ease, education to open every mind. Learn about your country, leave no one behind. When NewsSpin is on your radio, come along hands in hands, voices in unity, singing loud. NewsSpin, News the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. St. Lucian's heart to the world's every land. Knowledge unites us hand in hand. Yeah, Tim on NewsSpin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. Tim on NewsSpin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. NewsSpin is on education for all, from city streets to mountains tall. Learn your history, share your dreams. Together we light the world with our flame. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Yeah, NewsSpin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world.
The NewsSpin song. Let's turn our attention now to Amanda, and let's find out what is happening in the chat room. A final update from you, ma'am.
Tim, a few comments from earlier in the chat room. A NewsSpinner says, I think Mr. Stanley Felix should leave all speculation out of the mind of some of the voters, because it's sad that politics has become the mood is red and the code is yellow. So whenever a red or yellow color is being worn, especially by a so-called independence candidate, this will be met with speculation.
But his color is actually orange. Yeah, it's orange.
But I welcome Mr. Stanley Felix in the arena and exercising his political rights, and it's our right to do the same at the polls. A commentary reads, you are so right, caller. Look at where the kids are, because the adults continue to make decisions for themselves and not thinking of this generation. Someone says they're stop crying for VA4. I'm of a caution. These people love Labour after elections, back to more suffering. A NewsSpinner says here, if St. Lucians were thinking they would never vote for PJP and his bunch of jokers because they believe too much in tea-boutique governance. Imagine in this day and age of hard times and high prices, talking about making a $5 bet. Even if it was a joke, but it goes to show how his mentality of living in the past and having no ideas to even think of saying something like that. Cheap SLP government, cheap PJP, and cheap politics. Another commentary reads, we have a whole plywood city, so what else do we need? Someone says here, I don't want to hear about protocol when the current administration doesn't respect anything to do with it. Did Lisa observe protocol? Commentary reads, we need a debate with leaders on all hot topics. A NewsSpinner says here, the people believe change is changing the governing party and not their mindset of not supporting progress for all. Another commentary reads, the election is near. Let's not forget about BMAX. The Prime Minister promised St. Lucian's housing. A commentary reads, as a woman and the mother of a young man, I'll never support Lisa Jawahir, whatever her name is, for what she did to that man. Doesn't matter what foolishness she used to defend her actions or inactions, it's just not right. And mothers should never support a woman so. Someone says here, my question is, why was the rep for Babono launched in another representative's constituency? A NewsSpinner says, unless we stop being UWP and SLP and choose to be St. Lucians first, our country will not go forward and will always be failing our generation. Commentary reads, politics should be about building bridges, not burning them. If Labour hopes to win Choiseul again, it must rise above such divisive rhetoric. Because right now, Polion's outburst did not weaken Bradley Felix, it weakened her own side. A NewsSpinner says cruelty and independence celebrations are on the back burner, putting people first. Their interests are jazz, carnival, and anything that will take them overseas with their friends. Let's be real here. A commentary reads, Stevenson King can't even help himself. He thinks SLP will help him. They have used him already and they have already replaced him. A few comments here via YouTube reads, I want all politicians to be held accountable that does not live up to their manifesto. Commentary says the age of retirement is 65. All politicians who are past this age should be advisors and not ministers. Commentary says, Alan, on behalf of Miku South, thank you for all you have done for the constituency and the country at large. We stand with you till the wheels fall off. Once again, thank you, sir. commentary says, Gasa, this year elections is just sit back and sip your coffee and watch everybody business come out. And the commentary via YouTube, it reads, everything has to come out because we have to give the electorates all the information to make a decision at the polls. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Still to come, we have our NewsSpin question of the day and also the NewsSpin news of the day. We will take one final call on the broadcast, and let's see if we have that call now via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon to you.
Timothy.
This is NewsSpin.
Oi. Timothy.
Yes, Rick.
Timothy. Sasho.
Oui. Sasho two ballman.
Well, yesterday I would have called, if I had to give your show a title, I would have called it Judas and his carrots. Are you familiar with Judas and his carrots?
What would you call it?
Judas and his carrots.
No, I'm not familiar.
You're not familiar with Judas?
No, yeah, of course, but I've never heard Judas and his carrots.
Oh, I got it wrong. Iscariot.
Oh, okay. All right. Now you're talking.
Iscariot, not
Yeah.
and his carrots.
Mm.
Boy, Tim, if you would permit me, 5 lines written by a gentleman, a great writer called Paul Thoreau. And he was writing about B.S. Naipaul. And I quote, "It is a good thing that time is light, because so much of life is mumbling shadows, and the future is just silence and darkness. But time passes by. Time's torch illuminates. It finds connections. It makes sense of confusion. It reveals truth. And you hardly know the oddness of life until you have lived a little. Then you get it. You're older. You're looking back. For a period, you understand and can say, oh, yes, I see it all clearly now. I remember everything." So that's one of the great things about living, if you're lucky enough to live as long as I have, and to be at least having your faculty in tip-top shape. Because I thought I had it all figured out what was bugging Stephen King, that he left the way he did. And it suddenly occurs to me, from what I'm hearing from Guy, from Montoute, it jarred my mind, and all of a sudden I'm a lot wiser. So what I didn't see back in the day, because the torch was not, the torch of time has been lit on them. It's lit on now. And I want to just throw a couple of things at you. Why would King have such resentment for the United Workers' Party that made him? The United Workers' Party made Stevenson King. Without the United Workers' Party, chances are Stevenson King would be no kind of name to remember. I mean, he hadn't scored anything. I don't know anything special about him, special talents, that we would have been remembering him for posterity, Tim.
Yes.
But we certainly are not about to forget who Stephen King is for a very, very long time now. So let me just throw something at you. Montoute called a while ago, and he gave you a couple of lists here and there. But Montoute did not tell you that were it not for his kindness, stupidity, a whole list of words, because I don't know which it is, that this coup, this palace coup, when a group of the United Workers, when the cabinet wanted Stevenson removed as Prime Minister. Remember that famous one?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Had it not been for Montoute, who, instead of taking his letter directly to the Governor General, thought the decent thing to do would be to drop by King and tell him what's in the air. And King persuaded him not to do it, give him a little more time to sort things out, and that is why it didn't happen. Now we hear from Montoute a lot of other reasons, but that is a reason that it just clicked in my mind. I've heard him. Also, Guy Joseph, I didn't hear all of it, but Guy Joseph suggested that that Philip Pierre, the Prime Minister, had laid down a rule that his cabinet should not enter with their phones in the on cabinet days.
Yes.
He said that, right?
Yes, he said.
And did he say what the reason was?
He said he said that maybe because of past experiences that they do not want to relive. But he did not. Yeah.
I'll do that. All right. Well, I am going to put it this way. If what Guy Joseph said is true, how many times have I said to you, Tim, do not underestimate Philip J. Pierre. Do not underestimate Philip J. Pierre. Philip J. Pierre is a politician of one of a kind. And instead of studying those lines when I say them, the people in your chat room, is Ricky's friend. Friend or enemy, I tell it like I see it. And I've always told solutions, just because the guy is not your party leader, don't underestimate him. Neither should Alan Chastney be underestimated. But in particular, Philip Pierre should not be underestimated. If Philip Pierre, in fact, has a rule that he does not want his cabinet members entering the room with their phones, I can assure you he has very good reason. Very good reason.
And maybe there is precedent.
Bitter experience, and I can tell you that, has taught Philip Pierre that his cabinet members are not above recording him for their own devious purposes. Philip Pierre is well aware of that. Take my word on that. He's well aware that he has been recorded by certain members of his cabinet. Are you hearing me clearly, Tim?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Good. Getting back to King, the reasons King might have for feeling as he does about the UW. His cabinet, like I told you, conspired to dump him. That's one. Lady Janice, what an insult, what an embarrassment that when Sir John Compton's funeral came about, so many regional prime ministers eulogized him in the cathedral. Did King get a chance to eulogize him?
No.
Can you think of anything more embarrassing, belittling than that? That the Prime Minister of the day of St. Lucia, who had told everybody that were it not for John Compton, one of the founders of the party, and Henry G. Rhodey, he would not be who he is. And there he is now, John Compton's wife, not wanting Stephenson King close to the casket. That is the whole Bible of writing, right?
Yeah.
But imagine you having to live with that kind of embarrassment, what it might do to your brain. He didn't stop there. Lady Janice accused him of betraying her husband. And that had to do with when Rufus Busby was tired, etc., etc. So, there are a couple more I need not go, but 6 reasons I can think of why Stephenson King would have nothing but hatred for the United Workers' Party.
But what about the main one, which is he being replaced as political leader of the UWP?
That's one of the big ones. I told you there were a few others. That, in the interest of time, I was letting it go. But thank you for.
But I believe that's the most significant or pivotal one.
It probably is the most significant one. It probably is the most significant one. But the interesting thing is that he has put all the hate on Alan Chasney, but Alan Chasney was not alone in dumping him.
Yeah.
Alan Chasney was not alone. But the point I want to make is he has a number of reasons for hating the United Workers' Party. Because the United Workers' Party always suspected Stevenson King might pull a fast one on them, Tim. They always suspected that when the elections are coming.
And they allow it to manifest itself without
Tim,
without taking proactive action?
Well, what they thought was that Stevenson King had been Prime Minister and he would not be ready to go under of all people Philip Pierre, because they weren't talking to Philip Pierre at the time either,
Yeah.
So he wouldn't want to go and serve. That was the general feeling. He's not going to. There's no way he's going to want to go and serve. What they underestimated was the length and breadth and depth of Stevenson King's hatred for Alan Chasney. And that is what is going on in this country. This country is being victimized by hatred. What's going on, and I wanted to tell you all the things I mentioned, they had little to do with the country itself, and everything had to do with the ambitions of the individual politicians, all the Brutus betrayals. All of that has nothing to do with advancement of the country. It has with the advancement of personal careers or revenge for certain things, all very much personal, nothing to do with the prosperity of the country. And it goes on. But what's happening now is that hatred is so thickly spread all over the country that the country is busy drowning itself in a cauldron of hate. I will stop there because you give me all this time, Tim. But we'll go a little.
Let me ask you one question now. What do you think about Stanley Felix contesting the Castries Central seat?
Now that you ask, the underestimating of Philip Pierre again. Is it just possible that all the reasons you hear going around, that not one of them is true? That Philip Pierre by now knows several ways to skin cats, frogs, manipu, all of that. He knows how to skin all those things. And Stanley may well be the dagger that he uses to skin whatever particular beast he wants to skin. Do you understand that Greek?
I'm trying to read through the lines there.
You tried to throw it around.
To read between the lines.
Well, it's not. You don't have to read between the lines.
But Stanley said he has not had any conversation, any discussions with neither Philip J. Pierre or Alan Chasney.
If you listen very carefully, one of the things I ought to say about Stanley is a master of the English language. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
He spoke there very, very carefully. Every word. I have not spoken with, but I don't plan to. At this time, I have not spoken to the either side. That would be perfectly correct, or at least politically astute. That leaves room later on to say, well, I had not spoken to anybody by that time. Maybe he's going to speak to them next week. And if anything comes up, he'll tell you, well, when I said it, I meant so and so. You have no idea. We're going to have to see how it unfolds. But I keep on saying, do not underestimate Philip J. Thank you very much, Tim.
All right. Thank you so much. And let me just reveal that Stanley Felix will be my guest on tomorrow evening's News Maker Live on DBS television. So once again, Stanley Felix will be on News Maker Live, God willing, tomorrow evening, 8:30, and that is on DBS television. Let's turn our attention to our NewsSpin question of the day. The NewsSpin question of the day, it reads, what do you think about the decision by Stanley Felix to contest the Castries Central seat as an independent candidate? What do you think about the decision by Stanley Felix to contest the Castries Central seat as an independent candidate. Finally, the NewsSpin news of the day reads, calls for Grenadians to reject U.S. request to set up radar station. Calls for Grenadians to reject U.S. request to set up radar station. The NewsSpin news of the day bringing to a conclusion another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also click the notification bell to help the channel grow. That's the broadcast. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.